I'm Arnold Davik, and you're watching AHA TV. There's still plenty of learning, networking, and fun here in Philadelphia at the scientific sessions this year, including the latest in the late-breaking science sessions. This year's conference also features programming in collaboration with transcatheter cardiovascular therapeutics. These sessions include late-breaking science and case theater presentations. You can check out the AHA mobile meeting app to explore all the TCT at AHA sessions.
It's so important because we realize that late-breaking science and important results to the clinical community is really being presented at a variety of our sessions. And a lot of the exciting data at TCT or AHA, this gives us an opportunity to collaborate and learn together. We're one vibrant, organic community in cardiovascular medicine, and it's wonderful that these two organizations have come together to collaborate on late-breaking science.
From our colleagues at TCT and that innovation, to I'll call it the width of the AHA, how we take care of that patient post, pre-procedure, the science around prevention, and generally how we can think about population health. So those are really exciting things to me because we live in a field sometimes where you get really deep into taking care of patients, but you'd like to see all the things you could do.
Does sex matter when it comes to heart failure? A panel of experts took a deeper dive in examining the sex differences and sex-specific factors in the treatment of patients with heart failure. It examined sex differences that may lead to important clinical differences in heart failure through the spectrum of disease stages.
This is an area that has been underrepresented for many, many years, and as a result, I think many in our field may not be aware that there is underdiagnosis, there is delays in diagnosis and underappreciation of heart failure syndromes among women, and increasing the education and the awareness around this will hopefully allow us to better enroll women in clinical trials, better make a sooner diagnosis.
This week is not just for learning the latest science, but to learn about how data is analyzed behind these findings. Attendees came together to meet with mentors in the Heart Hub and learn more about the precision medicine platform.
So the Precision Medicine Platform is our data marketplace and research platform where we offer cloud computing workspaces for researchers to use to analyze data. We want to make sure that everyone knows that we have this rich clinical data available for research with an approved research proposal that is available on our really awesome cloud computing platform.
Go Red for Women encourages awareness of the issue of women and heart disease and also action to save more lives. Sunday was Wear Red Day at scientific sessions, with members and attendees showing their support to the commitment of preventing heart disease and stroke.
Women often don't take care of themselves the way we should, and often when we present with symptoms, it's ignored. And so it's important for not only physicians and health professionals to be aware of the impact that heart disease has on women, but also for women to know about their own heart health.
What I would love from this message today is go and check your numbers. It's not just your blood pressure, it's your kidney, your sugar levels, your cholesterol levels. We all, just by testing them, we may be able to prevent before symptoms arise.
Sleep is essential and influences nearly all major organ systems, physiological processes, and functions within the body. Recent evidence points to a strong link between sleep, circadian factors, and cardiovascular disease-related outcomes. Attendees learned how sleep factors relate to CVD and how improved sleep can lead to better cardiovascular health.
The impact of sleep on health in general, and especially cardiovascular health, is the awareness is increasing, and that's why we have to look at all the studies that have been done and actually bridge the sleep community and the cardiovascular community with their knowledge and shared interest in population health.
Research shows LDL cholesterol is an important modifiable risk factor for patients at risk of a cardiac event. I'm here at the American Heart Association's 2023 scientific sessions, joined by Dr. Nihar Desai, cardiologist at Yale Medicine. And today we will be talking about why lower is better when it comes to LDL cholesterol in patients with ASCVD, and also talking about why frequent testing is so important. Dr. Desai, thank you so much for joining us. And if you could tell me why, or talk to me a little bit about the aspects of routine clinical practice that might be contributing to the undertreatment of LDL cholesterol.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think what we know is, obviously it's hard to overstate the public health burden of cardiovascular disease, both in the US and frankly around the world. And we know that LDL cholesterol is one of the most important, if not the most important, modifiable risk factor for vascular disease. I think too often we see that too many of our patients are not actually getting to the LDL levels and are not being managed and treated with the evidence-based therapies that the guidelines or other professional society statements would suggest that they be on. I think there's lots of things that probably contribute to that. I think engaging patients, having them know the importance of LDL cholesterol as a modifiable risk factor is critically important here. I think providers have a sense of inertia. We're not intensifying treatments in the way that the guidelines and other documents are suggesting that we do. We're underusing highly evidence-based therapies. And I think those two things together are really leading us to where many of our patients are not getting to the LDL levels that the guidelines and the expert consensus decision pathways are recommending.
How can patients really benefit from routine testing?
Yeah, testing is a really important foundational part of this. We can't get patients to the goals and the levels that the guidelines and the expert consensus decision pathways are advocating for if we're not even doing testing. I think more than half, if not as many as 3/4 of patients following a heart attack are not getting their LDLs tested. And so there's a really critical role that all of this begins with LDL testing and making sure patients know what their LDL cholesterol level is. And that's the start of a discussion, we hope, with providers about, hey, what's the right level of LDL that they should be getting to?
And how can healthcare providers really communicate the importance of maintaining those levels low and also keep patients motivated to adhere to those treatment plans?
Yeah, it's a critical question. I think we all have a role to play in that as part of the healthcare team. And I think we've got to continue to emphasize to patients that LDL cholesterol is really one of the most important, again, if not the most important, causal risk factor for vascular disease, and that lowering levels of LDL has been shown to reduce the rates of adverse cardiovascular events. And so one of the most important things they can do from a cardiovascular health and cardiovascular prevention standpoint is to lower that LDL cholesterol.
Dr. Desai, thank you so much. Pleasure.
Thank you.
The American Heart Association is the trusted resource for healthcare organizations. We bring together gold standard science with disruptive technology to help improve patient outcomes, reduce readmissions, ensure health equity, address disparities in care, and contain costs. We foster a community dedicated to achieving the highest standards of competence and confidence.
Our partners benefit from it and contribute to it.
Attendees headed into the main event room in anticipation of the presidential address and to celebrate the recipients of the Science Awards and Chairman's Award.
Only by uniting our efforts will we make the biggest advances in preventing and treating heart diseases for the next decade and for the next century. I believe now, more than ever, it's a time for all of us to work together.
The AHA has been rooted in science since our founding in 1924, and science, of course, is rooted in researchers and clinicians. No matter where you fit in the creation and implementation of science, the AHA is here for you.
Back in the Heart Hub, the LPA Data Challenge is part of an American Heart Association project with support from Novartis Pharmaceuticals Corporation to address the lack of clinical standards for screening and management of LPA, a critical cardiovascular disease risk factor.
It's really excited to join this competition with our work and then to get a chance to see other teams work and learn from each other, build potential collaborations in the future.
Cardio-oncology is a rapidly emerging field, and advanced practitioners play key roles in the prevention, early detection, and optimal treatment of cardiotoxicities associated with cancer therapies. This session is designed to provide current knowledge about cardio-oncology for cardiologists and cardiovascular scientists, and is led by experts in cardio-oncology and oncology.
It's a relatively new subspecialty, but more importantly, there are new guidelines and recommendations coming out about how all of us should be treating our patients, and it's really of relevance to every cardiologist alongside cancer patients, so that getting the message out there and widening the information that's available is really important.
Don't forget, as the show winds down, we'll crown the winner of this year's Health Tech competition in the Science and Technology Hall at 11:15 on Monday in the Health Innovation Pavilion. You can access scientific sessions content on demand beginning in late November. That's more than 300 sessions, including the late-breaking science and main event sessions. Enjoy all that content and earn CE credit as well. For more information, head to sessionsondemand.org. And be sure to join us next year back in Chicago as we celebrate the 100th anniversary of the American Heart Association. Thank you all so much for joining us this week on AHA TV. I'm your host, Arnold Davik. Before we go, we'll leave you with the sights and sounds from this week at Scientific Sessions 2023.